Good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome. This is Thursday morning, 10 a.m. And as you guys enter the stream, enter the chat room, please say hi, say good morning. Let me know where you are attending from. Oh, Adina's here. Hi, Adina. Good morning to you too. So I am Jessica Perrone, and you are here for the Her Investing Coffee Talk. In case you kind of fell upon the stream and didn't quite know what we were doing here, but that's what we're doing. We are talking about money and finance and investing here at the Her Investing Coffee Talk. And it's been such an interesting week in her financial IQ land. And my first announcement for next week is I'm going to be live from Nashville. How exciting is that? Yeah. So I'm going to be live from Nashville next week, and I'm really excited about it. I have never been to Nashville before. If you have any travel tips, please feel free to send them along. And spoiler alert, maybe next week I might be doing a theme that has to do with music. What do you guys think? Is that a spoiler? Is that a spoiler? Yeah, a little bit of a spoiler. Maybe that's going to be my theme for next week. Let me just introduce myself really quickly. I am Jessica Perrone. I'm the founder of Her Financial IQ. I am also your host today for Her Investing Coffee Talk. I am a mom of 3 teens, and I've been in finance for 16 years, and it is my mission to make money and investing topics relatable for women and teens. Yes, I'm not a financial advisor, but I am an experienced investor, and it is my goal as an educator to teach you all the things that I wish someone would have taught me growing up. So this is my mission statement here at Her Financial IQ. It is to empower women and teens through money, investing, and financial education by offering a non-judgmental and safe environment where questions are welcome and learning is fun. And that is something that's really super important to me, not only to make the subject matter relatable to women and teens, understandable to women and teens, but also to create a community, an environment, a classroom where women can come together and ask questions that they perceive, keyword, perceive as dumb or stupid, but really aren't, right? It's just the lack of confidence in raising their hand and saying, I do not understand this, right? And other people might have the same questions. And so that's why I created Her Financial IQ as a forum where women can come together and not feel judged or stupid when it came to asking their questions about money topics, about investing topics, and about finance topics. Okay. So another announcement beyond Nashville is that I am offering some workshops for Camp Coco. So the Coco is a woman's workplace environment. They have it for local members, and they also have these workshops offered to the public. But isn't that a great idea? So, while the kids are at camp, the women can go to camp too. So I'm offering 2 workshops there. So definitely check it out. They're going to be super fun. And it's just a really great group of women as well. And so I already talked about Nashville. So let's get started here. Go ahead and grab your identifying investment worksheet. And if you don't have an identifying investment worksheet, go ahead and comment below or DM me and I will send you the link, right? So let's get started here. Let's get started. So can you believe it's almost the last week? Oh, it is the last week of May. I can't believe May has gone by so ridiculously fast. Does anyone else feel that like May has gone through so fast? And me as a mom, I can't believe that the kids are going to be out of school soon. And I'm kind of like scrambling on what to do with my teens. So like they have jobs. So they're like not really camp age, but it's just a wonky time. I'm like trying to figure out what to do with these teams. Okay, awesome. Hi, Regina. Welcome. I'm so glad you made it. I will definitely make sure to send you that worksheet as well. So thank you for coming. I really super appreciate it. But anyhow, so the last weekend of May means it's Memorial Day weekend. And what are you guys up to this weekend? Are you guys taking a road trip? Are you beaching it? Are you having a family barbecue? What are you guys doing this weekend? And remember, as you are doing these activities, you can start thinking to yourself about you can start identifying the investments in your everyday lives of these parties and these road trips. Like if you are getting off the exit, to take a pee break, you can look at all the fast food chains that are there. You can look at the gas stations that are there, and you can start like jotting down, even like have a little pad of paper or put a Google sheet on your phone. And you can just enter in like different ideas or different companies that you are seeing as you are going through these festivities this weekend. But you know what is anyone going to go to their town's Memorial Day parade? Is anybody? Well, when my kids were younger, okay, I used to love to go to the Memorial Day parade. I kind of feel a little weird going to the Memorial Day parade all by myself. Like my teens don't want to be seen with me, right? So I feel a little wonky going, but I might just go all by myself this year. I don't mind doing things by myself. And you kind of it's weird. It's weird, right? When you have teens, like when they're little, you take them to all these events, but when they're teenagers, you're like, well, who am I going to go with? So if anyone wants to go with me to the Memorial Day parade, please let me know. I love parades. And like some of my favorite things and memories about the parades were like the kids, you clap for the kids as they walk by, like the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts. And then there's the marching bands and there's the tractors. And then of course you have the different branches of the military and you clap for them as they march by. And I don't know if anyone else does this, maybe it's just that I'm super sentimental, but I always get teary-eyed at parades. There's something about people coming together of all backgrounds to celebrate their pride of being an American. And I'm even just getting goosebumps here. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that all these people coming together and celebrating their pride of being an American. So, and also, you know what else I cry on? I do cry on kids singing, like any kids singing. I start bawling. I bawl for that. I bawl for parades. Yes, anywhere where people will come together and like show unity. I bawl for. And also like your local news when they do the feel good stories. Yeah, that's me. Hand me the tissue box. I'm going to start crying. But what I really wanted to do was talk a little bit about Memorial Day and the roots of Memorial Day. I actually went out and I actually researched the roots of Memorial Day. And so I thought that going into this segment where I'm going to talk about defensive stocks, I said, why not? I'm interested. Maybe someone else will be interested too. So Memorial Day was actually originally Decoration Day, when the practice of decorating the graves of the fallen soldiers started in graveyards at certain times of the year. And then after the Civil War, Decoration Day served the purpose of uniting both sides. Both the North and the South began to put into practice more formal, broadly accepted Memorial Day to honor the soldiers who had fallen in battle. However, the name was not changed to Memorial Day, the name change to Memorial Day was not widespread until after World War II. That's when we started widespread calling it Memorial Day. And so Memorial Day continues to be a holiday of special importance to those who have served in the American military and family members who grieve for the loss of their loved ones. Once a year, this holiday allows them to honor not only those who have died fighting wars in the name of their country, but also those who served and survived war. That is why the quote, all gave some, oh my gosh, I'm going to get clumped here. And some gave all. Let me say that again. All gave some, and some gave all is frequently used in relation to the holiday. And so to continue with the holiday theme, I'm going to be discussing some defensive stocks today. And these defensive stocks are included in the industrial sector and mostly in the industry sector within industrials, aerospace, and defense. Now, I often bring up that when women are starting their identifying investment worksheets, they focus on the four following sectors. The companies and the products that they start writing down and following fall into certain sectors, which are consumer staples, consumer discretionary, communication, and tech. And that is because these are the products and companies of items that we are consuming, right? We're consuming as women. But what I really like to do in these processes with women is to help them identify investments in different sectors. And I actually have my series, which is called Identifying Investments in Sectors, okay, to help women branch out of those four sectors that I just mentioned: the consumer staples, consumer discretionary, communication, and tech. Okay, so that you can branch out into the 11 stock market sectors, right? And be diversified. Okay, ladies, admit it. Okay, you're not out shopping for a tank or a missile defense system, right? And if you are, I think that's kind of badass, and I want to know you. But let's go ahead and look at some of these names so you can familiarize yourself with a couple defense names. Shall we do it? Shall we continue here? Okay. So I am mentioning 5 of the top defense stocks according to Ronald Epstein over at Bank of America. He wrote a research report that highlights some of his best stocks to buy for 2022. And so the top 5 here are Raytheon Technologies, that's RTX, General Dynamics, that's GD, Northrop Grumman Group, that's NOC, BWX Technologies, that's BWXT, and L3Harris Technologies, Inc., that's LHX. Now, I was a little surprised that Lockheed Martin, that's LMT, did not make the list. But, we're also going to talk about ETFs in a little bit. And also, I did some research, as I like to do, about ETFs as well. So after I talk a little bit about these individual stock names, I'm also going to go and start talking about some ETFs as well. So Raytheon Technologies is a large cap. And if you've listened to my broadcast, you know the difference between a large cap, a medium cap, a small cap. And you know that there's various types of risk associated with the different types of caps, right? Large caps have a tendency to be a little bit more established as a company. What's interesting here is that that Ronald actually brings up a small cap, and that's why I started adding, some of the caps here for you guys as well. The other thing I did pull up when I was looking at these was I pulled up their dividends, right? I thought that would be something that would be really super important to you guys. The reason why dividend stocks can be interesting is that you get paid basically on either a monthly, a quarterly, a 6-month, a yearly basis, a dividend in order to hold on to that stock. So it's a really great way to sort of ride out, especially in choppy times, and still get paid to hold on to that stock. You can listen to previous broadcasts where I talk more in depth about dividends as well. And then also I'm going to mention their PEs, and I'm going to compare it to the industry average PE. So as you know, and as I've mentioned, different sectors and different industry groups have different PEs. And what I like to do is I like to compare the PE with that industry group. Now, there's a lot of talk about PE nowadays in trying to find value, right? And you can also listen to some of my broadcasts where I go a little bit more in depth as to what PE is as well. And I have all the recordings on my website, herfiniq.com, and you can actually go in and listen to all of these recordings as well, where I talk about PE in depth, where I talk about dividends in depth. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'd love to hear them from you. Okay, so going back to Raytheon Technologies Corp here, the ticker is RTX. It is a large cap in the industrials group, and it has an annual dividend yield of $2.20 or 2.36%. Its PE is 33.18, and the industry average, compared to the industry average of 32.75. Epstein says Raytheon is his top aerospace and defense stock in 2022. He says that Raytheon should benefit from some merger synergies and its diversified exposure to Department of Defense investment priorities, including hypersonics. That's kind of cool. Hypersonics, cybersecurity, right? Cybersecurity, the new sort of aspect of warfare, right? Cybersecurity, and also missile defense. Okie dokie. So hypersonics, cybersecurity, and missile defense. So he goes on to talk about General Dynamics. That ticker is GD. It's a large cap. Again, it is also in the aerospace and defense industry group within industrials. The dividend yield on that is 2.29%, and the PE is a little bit lower actually than Raytheon. We're looking at 18.84, and that's in compared again to the industry average, which is 32.75. And so General Dynamics produces a range of vehicles like battle tanks and systems for the U.S. military. Okie dokie, battle tanks and systems. Interesting, right? Interesting. Who would have known? Who would have known? And then we're going to move on to number 3, which is Northrop Grumman Group. The ticker is NOC. It is a large cap, again, industrials, aerospace, and defense. We have a dividend yield of 1.48%, and the PE is a little bit less, which is 12.89. And then we have, I did not put the PE on that, so I will have to get back to you on that. So Northrop Grumman is one of the world's largest weapons and military technology producers. Epson says that Northrop has one of the best defense portfolios on the market, and its long-term outlook is solid. Okay, so that was number 3 on the list. Number 4 on the list is BWX Technologies. That ticker is BWXT. Again, sector industrials, industry group, aerospace and defense. It is a small cap, though. It is a small cap. This is that one small cap that I wanted to point out. That does have a dividend, though, at 1.75%, and its PE is 15.52 compared to the industry average of 32.75. BWX Technology supplies U.S. submarines and carriers with nuclear reactors, fuel, and associated services. So yeah, the services associated with submarines and carriers. Kind of cool, right? Yeah, I think that's kind of neat. Moving on, number 5 here. The number 5 out of the top 5, we have L3Harris Technologies. That's LHX. The sector is industrials, industry, aerospace, and defense. It is a large cap. We have a 1.89% dividend yield. And then we also have a PE of 25.45 compared to the industry of 32.75. So what L3Harris Technology does is that it's an aerospace and defense company focused on technology-driven mission solutions. Okay. Technology-driven mission solutions. Okay. Epstein says that supply chain disruptions have weighed on L3Harris revenues in recent quarters, but future growth in the F-35 fighter jet program and international demand will boost growth in 2023 and beyond. Okay, so you're probably like, okay, Jessica, you just rattled through all these companies. It's really nice to know that there are these defense companies out there and what they do, but like, how do I choose? How do I choose which one to invest in? And so as I recommend and as I talk about, is looking if there is an industry that you are interested in and you don't know who the number one player is, well then looking at ETFs of that industry can be really helpful in having you sort of diversify across some of these names. So what I actually did was I looked up the top ETFs by exposure. And I actually use this feature on the Fidelity online platform. And so what you can do is you can actually type in the ticker, and then towards the bottom of the page, they actually have a section that says top ETFs by exposure to that ticker, that company. And what was interesting was when I did sort of the analysis, the two top holders of these companies, these five that Epstein listed, were actually Invesco Aerospace and Defense ETF, that's PPA, and the Spider Kensho Final Frontiers ETF, and that is ROKT. So when I was doing sort of the analysis on the ETFs that had the largest exposure to those names, that's sort of where I saw the most overlap. However, when I did a search of the top 3 defense ETFs, and I found this on Investopedia, yes, PPA, the Invesco Aerospace and Defense ETF, did make the list, but they actually mentioned 2 additional ones. They mentioned iShares US Aerospace and Defense, that's ITA ticker, and also the Spider S&P Aerospace and Defense ETF, and that's XAR. As with everything, definitely do your own research. But if these are names that you are interested in, add them to your identifying investment worksheet so you don't lose track of them, and to take the time to research how they're doing and see if it's a good fit for your investment strategy. Now, there's some interesting conversations. You know that I love to talk about interesting conversations that I have going on around me. And it seems like the big conversation is, have you looked at your retirement account or your 401 recently, right? Have you guys, has anyone like looked at it and gone, oh my gosh, what just happened, right? And I've also had some very nice ladies say to me, you know what? It seems like I want to be getting involved in the markets, right? Is there a way to do this? So going back to looking at your 401ks recently, I found this really interesting article on Bloomberg. And basically what they're talking about is how popular retirement funds are getting hammered as tech stocks plunge. And it's saying that many of the largest 401k funds are down 13% this year. Right? That can be scary. That can be scary. And they actually have a quote here from Thomas Kopelman, and he is the co-founder from All Street Wealth. And he had 2 interesting things to say. He says, while the recent volatility is gut-wrenching for many people nearing or in retirement, it's an opportunity for millennial investors. For young people, the market going down is okay since you aren't going to use this money for a very long time. He says, so get the money in and stop waiting for the perfect time to buy the dip. Okay. And so, yes, it may be an interesting time to, as he's saying, to get involved in the markets. So that was another question that I've had. Women are asking me, I'm interested in getting into the markets right now. How are some ways to do this? So I thought about this, and I actually got this question from Regina, who's here. And so Regina, I put this together for you. So there's a few ways that you can get get investing in the markets. So the number one way, the two top ways I would say to get involved in the markets are ways that you're already involved in the markets and you probably don't know it. That would be from your retirement accounts, your IRAs, right? And also your employee stock purchase plans, right? So if you can max out your contributions to your IRAs and increase your contributions to your company's employee stock purchase plan, well, then you can get into the markets those ways as well. And for those people that don't know what an employee stock purchase plan is, that's an ESPP. An ESPP allows you to purchase company stock at a discounted price, often between 5 to 15% off fair market value. For example, if the fair market value on the applicable date is $10 per share, your plan offers a 15% discount, you can purchase those shares for $8.50 per share. That's like an automatic profit of $1.50 per share at the time of purchase if the plan allows you to sell it immediately. Okay, so that's kind of interesting, right? You can get into your company, you can purchase your company stock at a 15% discount off fair market value at a market low. That's kind of interesting, right? Yes, absolutely. That's kind of interesting. So that is another way that as part of your employee compensation plans and your benefit plans that you can potentially take advantage of a market downturn. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? Okay, so moving on. So I want to also talk about some non-retirement accounts. So these are taxed accounts. So say you have already maxed out your contributions to your IRAs and you're like, you know what, I really want to have another investment account that I can start putting monies towards. So there are two types of non-retirement accounts. So your taxed accounts. There are self-directed and then there's managed accounts. Okay. So, and this is like a topical overview of this. I do go super duper in depth on the pros and cons of all these types of accounts in my Investing for Beginners class. But I wanted to just people have been asking me this question. I'm not offering the classes this summer. So I just wanted to do a quick overview of some of the ways that you can start investing in the markets. So if you are looking and okay with self-directed, then what you're looking at are your retail brokers. That's your Fidelities, that's your TD Ameritrade, that's your Robinhoods. That's where you personally can buy and sell stocks, ETFs, cryptos, etc. Right? You need to do your own research, though, when it comes to these types of accounts, because you are investing your own monies. You are choosing the price that you are buying at, or you're buying it at market price. And so you really need to do your research, okay, when it comes to these self-directed accounts. Now, a little easier way to get involved in the market might be a managed account. That's where you invest in something like a robo-advisor or a financial advisor, and they invest the monies for you. Most times what will happen is that they will give you these questionnaires and they will assess your risk tolerance and sort of where you are financially in your life. So Betterment actually has the process nicely outlined on their website. They outline there, and Betterment is a robo-advisor. They outline the process like this. Tell us a little bit about you, how much you want to invest, why you're willing to invest, and your preferred timing. So they're going to ask you that. That's the first part of the process. The second part of the process is to set up your account in minutes. Okay. So literally you can go through this process really quickly and start investing as soon as your funds clear. Yeah, it's really convenient. And then they say part two is set up your account in minutes. Get started with an investing goal or generate general investing account and make your first deposit. And then they say, let us handle the hard stuff, meaning they're going to invest your monies for you in various ETFs. Now, again, the one thing with robo-advisors and financial advisors is that typically you cannot tell them to go and buy a single stock, right? If you're interested in buying or investing in a single stock, you're better off going with a retail broker. Okay. And it's okay to have multiple accounts. And in fact, I encourage women and people and anybody to have different types of accounts so you can compare returns, right? If your returns on certain investments you've made in your retail brokerage account does not compare to the ones from your robo-advisor or your financial advisor, then why are you doing it, right? Why not just let them handle in the investments of your monies based on your risk assessment? Okay, so your managed accounts are your robo-advisor. So you have your Wealthfront, you have your Betterment, and then you also have your financial advisor. Now, when we are thinking about financial advisor versus robo-advisor, the big thing that you are going to want to think about is how important is talking to somebody. Okay, now financial advisors can be super helpful in laying out your financial path. Okay. They can be part of your financial help toolbox. Okay. I even have a financial advisor who is amazing. Okay. She knows everything. And I call her my fairy godmother. Whenever I have a question, right, I go to her and I say, okay, this is what I'm thinking about. How do I get there? And we actually will trade ideas and thoughts and concepts, and I'll call her about the markets and what is she thinking. And we have this type of relationship. And I really value that relationship as well. So it really depends with you how you feel, how important it is to you to have someone that you can talk to. Okay. So to reiterate here, if you want to get involved in the markets now, like a lot of you ladies are talking about, so that you can do what Mr. Kopelman says and get in and stop waiting for the perfect time to buy the dip, well, then you can do a couple of things. You can contribute to your IRAs. You can up your contributions to your employee purchase stock plan. The employee stock plans. And then you can also create non-retirement or taxed accounts, investment accounts that are self-directed like retail brokers, or managed accounts like robo-advisors and financial advisors. Okay, so all this doom and gloom with the markets, well, is there a silver lining ahead? Now, you guys know I love to look for tea leaves, right? I like to look at news and trends to see what potentially can be coming down the pipeline. And Joe Weisenthal makes a really interesting point this morning on Bloomberg's 5 Things to Start Your Day. I love this newsletter. If there's one newsletter that you subscribe to get yourself, up to speed as to what's going on in the markets, I would recommend this 5 Things to Start Your Day. And what he is saying is that he is looking to see, he is most certainly, okay, he goes, we should see inflation decelerate over the summer. And if it doesn't happen, it would be pretty alarming. Okay, that's what he's saying. And the reason why he's saying this is that because he has been seeing, and even I have been seeing, a significant normalization and easing in parts of the market that were previously dysfunctional. Okay. He says trucking rates are coming down, right? If there's less demand, the trucking rates are coming down, and the trucking rates are coming down even with diesel prices at such highs. Have you guys seen the diesel prices? Each time I go by a gas station, I go, poor truckers. I mean, that pricing is ridiculous. Okay. And then it goes on to say global shipping rates are coming down. And then it also goes that after running extremely lean for a long time, the big retailers are now sitting on growing piles of unsold inventory. And he's also seeing a shift from goods to services, right? The consumer is moving from goods to services. Okay. So so these are all items that we're looking at and we're like, ooh, this may contribute to inflation coming down, which is what the markets want to see too. Because if inflation is coming down, then maybe the Fed won't have to continue these rate hikes. Okay. And maybe we won't be going into a recession. So that's sort of what the market is looking for this summer. And that's what Joe is talking about in this little excerpt from this morning. Okay, so another item that I saw about the consumer came out of Macys Earnings this morning. As you may know, Macys is also an owner of Bloomingdale's. The ticker is M. And I saw these earnings on Trade the News this morning, and they highlighted a couple points here. The first one was consumer shopping behaviors shifted during the quarter to more occasion-based apparel. Okay. As a result, dresses, women's shoes, accessories, and men's tailored had strong sales performance. Okay. And then they go on to say that inventory performance was impacted by the downshift in consumer demand from active casual and soft home categories. Okay. And accelerated demand to at occasion based apparels. Okay. So people are doing things, weddings are happening, events are happening, people are dressing up, people are going to the office, right? So these occasion based demand is increasing. So I thought that was really interesting. They also addressed the loosening supply chain constraints, which Joe was talking about with the price of shipping coming down as well. Okay. So they were talking about loosening in supply chain constraints, resulting in a higher percentage of receipts than expected. Okay. So they are also starting to see this soften, which in turn could potentially bring down inflation. Okay. So with that said, we're also seeing some other tea leaves here in housing, and we're seeing some good news for home buyers. And I actually was having this conversation with a gentleman about, some of the hot markets like Nashville, where I'm going next week. But this article highlights hot markets like Austin, Texas, that are suddenly slowing. Buyers who had once made on-the-spot offers now have time to shop and even negotiate. And some sellers are doing something unthinkable. They are slashing prices. Okay. And then Mark Zondi, chief economist at Moody's Analytics, expects prices to flatten over the next 18 to 24 months. Interesting, right? Yeah. So maybe, just maybe, there is a silver lining out there. And maybe, just maybe, Joe is right to think that we should start seeing inflation come down by this summer. We're going to keep an eye on that. Yes, we are. We definitely are. Okay. So I have two headlines that I wanted to bring up that did give me a little bit of a chuckle. Okay. And I stopped doing this for a little bit, but I wanted to reintroduce it. And the first one I'm going to talk about is from IBD. And I have to read you the headline and then explain to you why I got a chuckle out of it. So IBD highlighted that Canadian cannabis producer Canopy Growth reports fourth quarter earnings on Fridays, and analysts expect more losses and falling sales. Is there any reason to buy CGC stock now? Okay, so expect more losses and falling sales. Do you guys know why I got a chuckle out of this one? Okay, no. Well, I was like immediately in my head, I'm like, oh, people are laying off the pot and like, because they have to go back to work and back to school and back to real life. They're not just like hanging out and at home and smoking pot. Yeah, that's like the visual. When I read that headline, that's the visual that I got in my head. I was like, oh yeah. But that's just the rabbit hole that my brain is when I see this stuff. I get chuckles. I'm amused. I amuse myself. I really do. I really amuse myself. Okay. The other headline that I saw that amused me has to do with food, Beyond Meat, actually. And did you guys hear this, that Beyond Meat has signed Kim Kardashian as chief taste consultant? I was like, what? I saw that headline. I'm like, okay, yes, their stock has been beat up, and yes, they need some sort of like something to get, you know, the engines going back up on the Beyond Meat offerings. But I don't know why. I don't know why I got such a chuckle out of that. Kim Kardashian, yeah, as chief taste consultant. Yeah, I got a big chuckle out of that. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Anyone else find that funny, or is it just me? Are you guys like, yeah, Jessica? But I found it hilarious. Okay. Moving on to the last segment. As you know, I like to finish out my segments with a quote of the day. And usually I am talking about inspiration. But what I really wanted to do was I wanted to take time to do Memorial Day quotes here, to honor our vets. And the first quote of the day for today is, "Those who have long enjoyed such privileges as we enjoy forget in time that men have died to win them." Okay, let me repeat that. Those who have long enjoyed such privileges as we enjoy forget in time that men have died to win them. That is from Franklin D. Roosevelt. And I actually have another one here from Maya Angelou. And that is, "It is important for us to recognize and celebrate our heroes and sheroes." Yes. Okay, again, how important it is for us to recognize and celebrate our heroes and sheroes. Yeah, I'm getting goosebumps from that. Let that sink in. And I'm Jessica Perrone, founder of Her Financial IQ. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And should you wish to take your investing journey outside the coffee talks and fortify your financial freedoms, come see me in my panels, workshops, and courses. And of course, come watch and interact in the coffee talks. You have been watching the Her Investing Coffee Talk. May the markets be in your favor. Bye now. Thank you for joining. Let me know how I'm doing, how you like the show. Tell your friends. Yay! Bye now.